All right, guys, I'm going to give you at least a couple of turns of like a partial playthrough here. My goal is to get at least as far as I want to show you a travel. So we're going to end up hopefully exploring that first location and showing you some combat and all of that and introducing you to some of these tracks and some of the mechanics over here. So I'm set up for a normal difficulty game. So all my mats are on the normal sides, except for I'm including an antagonist. So our chosen shade, our boss, is Envy. She has a fairly intimidating amount of text on the back of her card. This is the weirdest boss. So most of them have much simpler setup text and special rules. So most of this has to do with her final encounter here. So we don't have to worry about it yet. But I do know that I'm looking for her at the Pit of Shada. That's a 6/4 location, Darkwind, and the Wrath Marshes. So one of those three locations is our goal, and all of those are down near the southeast. So we're just going to start working our way down there, and as we get closer, or if we see one of those locations pop up, we're going to probably try to save it as a beacon. We're also, though, playing with a Shadow, which is like a mini boss, and I chose Pride. I think she's pretty fun as a Shadow. She's not in play yet. She's actually a meddler up here, and that means her metal effect is in play, though. So there's an additional X darkness in the quest area, and all slow enemies, which are typically the harder enemies, have plus X attack. X is your corruption. Your corruption is how many times you've cycled through your deck and had to reshuffle, but you actually start at corruption 1. And so already from the jump here, there's an additional 1 darkness in the quest area, and then I have to worry about slow enemies. Hopefully that doesn't affect us too much, because there are a few slow enemies in the Dusk deck, but usually it's when you get into the Doom deck, the harder enemies, that you're going to start seeing some of those slow enemies. Also, apologies for, I would normally put my phone on a stand here so that I wasn't shaking around. I'm going to try to hold this still and not make you dizzy. But this is like a lot of table area, and I also want to be able to zoom in on some of these components so you can actually see what's going on. So we're just going to try to deal with it, and I'll try to be as smooth as I can here. We're playing as Courage, Luminary, and Scorchright, Profession. I would encourage you to use probably either Courage or Justice as your starting Luminary. They're on the less complex side. Then maybe move to Temperance, and then finally Wisdom once you feel like you've got a handle on it, and you'd like to feel like you don't have a handle on it. Again, you can try a game with Wisdom. We grabbed our 6 player cards from each of the characters, and we shuffled those up. I drew my initial hand of 7. That's the only time you draw up to 7, at least when your hand size isn't 7, because we're going to put an Explore card out for free. And let's do that now. See if I can do this one-handed. I want some Explore points. I'm looking at these numbers up here. I want some Explore, but not a lot, because I don't want to explore away from Far Home too quickly. I'm kind of liking this too. So let's see if I can not mess up all these tokens out here. Okay, so that's our Explore card. This is the only time we're playing that out for free at setup, because after this, our Explore card is going to be the attack card we played last round. So we paid for it last round. Right? We've set up, you always start in Far Home. That's our 1-1 location. Coordinates here. We're 1 position east, 1 position south. And we're trying to get all the way down to like 5s and 6s according to where Envy can be found. We have no beacon saved yet. We haven't traveled yet. That's going to happen when we travel. We haven't reduced the shade influence yet. We're going to try to get it to, we're going to try to explore at least 3 or 4 locations so that we aren't penalized when we finally hit the boss, because that's the point of this mat. Is part of our job is actually along the way. We need to be exploring these locations. That's why you're exploring each individual location, because we're rooting out the influence that the boss has in that area. So we're going to try to explore enough that this isn't a problem for us. I don't necessarily expect to get up into you can get benefits if you reduce it enough. You can get some free XP. I'll just be happy if we just aren't penalized. Okay, the other part of setup is we're going to populate 3 darkness into the quest area just for setup. So this is X darkness, X is our corruption, so that's a 1. When you flip an enemy and reveal it, you put it to the front or the back of the queue in the quest area based on whether it's fast or slow. Pointing to the right is fast, pointing to the left is slow. So this would be a fast enemy. Doesn't matter, it's the only one out here right now. Okay, there's another 2 darkness, so that's 1, 2, 3 revealed, and that's good enough. I'm going to see if there's any when revealed effects. There aren't. I put him in the front because he's a fast enemy. So we've got the Red Wraith and the Molten Trailhound. Okay, not too bad, and hopefully we can defeat him before we travel. He's got this ability here that says add +1 to your total distance when traveling. Not great to have that because distance is bad, but hopefully we can defeat him before we travel. I plan on hanging around Farhome for a turn or 2 to try to build up before we travel. Okay, now we're going to start the round. This is going to get redesigned, but this is my reference card here. So we'll do the staging phase, and I'll try to talk through what I'm doing here so that you can get a feel of the gameplay. Reveal total enemy darkness equal to your threat. So your threat, first part of your threat is this threat track here. And we are starting at 3 threat because wherever your cube is, you look at the black section. And so for a couple of turns here yet, we'll be in, well, depending on how bad our next travel is, hopefully we can stay in that 3 section for a while. But you also add in any darkness or threat tokens that are on the location. Whenever you linger on a location for more than a turn, it's going to start accumulating threat tokens. And that's pushing you to move on because those go away when you travel. But more and more enemies are honing in on your position the longer you stay at a given location. So we're going to do the staging phase. We're going to reveal 3 because this was for setup here. So now we're going to do the actual staging phase of our first turn. So there is 1, the Soul Conspirator. Okay, we also want to defeat him because he's going to put automatic progress on the treachery, and we don't want that. He goes in front, so that's 1 revealed. That's 2 revealed. That's the Soul Assassin. He doesn't like it when you travel. Okay, I'm getting the message here. The enemies are not wanting me to travel. And that's 3, 4. So we were unlucky there. We only needed to reveal 3, and we revealed 4. Nothing we can do about that. They got a little spare change there. And that's the Threatened Swifter. When you attack this enemy, something bad happens to you, but you get to choose. So I'm guessing I'm probably going to take a wound when I attack him, but we'll find out. Okay, none of them had when revealed effects. So that's what we're looking at. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 darkness in the quest area. But remember, Pride is adding some. She's adding 1 right now because our corruption is 1. Okay, now it's our turn. It's the action set phase. We're going to play our 3 cards. I'm going to look over here at my light track. This is a lot of times what I do to start my turn. Your light track tells you how many enemies are going to engage you. So if we were to spend light and get down to there, you see we're in the 2 section. So 2 enemies are going to come down from the quest area, the 2 in the front. If we were to get over here to like this 11 space, now we finally hit the 3 section. And then if we're all the way down here, if your light gets really low, which, trust me, sometimes it will, not only are more enemies engaging you, but you have to populate an extra enemy after the staging phase, or after the engagement phase. So we would populate a Dusk enemy here, a Doom enemy. If we were all the way down here, we'd have to do 1 of each. But we start up here at 20. And just because I've played the game before, I know what the effect on Farhome is. You may spend 1 free light once per round. That word may is extremely helpful because sometimes you actually want to spend light because you want more enemies engaging you. What I would really like is to get down to 2 enemies engaging me, but I don't think I can get there because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would have to spend 5 light. 2 or 3 is what I meant, but I don't think I can get down to 3 because that's a lot of light, and I just don't think I have enough cards that are expensive enough at the start of the game to get down there. So for sure we're trying to get to 2, so we want to spend 5 or 6 light. If we spend 6 light and we use the 1 for free, that would get us just into this threshold here, and then we would produce back up in the refresh phase, and we start with 4 light production per our character growth track here. And so I don't want to get too low on light too soon. Okay, so the next thing I usually do is I usually look at my hand and I look at the card effects and see what I might want to do. So blinding light. So that's a way to ignore defense if you spend extra light. And then you can gain some light back. Not that interested yet in that. When you explore a location, gain +2 XP from it. Now that would be wonderful, except we're not planning to explore the location this turn, but maybe next turn. Here's a Scorchlight card. Scout ahead. Add up to 3 obstacles to the location. For each obstacle you add, choose 1 card with a fire trait in your deck and add it to your hand. Okay, we don't have his abilities, his skills unlocked. I'm looking at Blazing Torch and Burnout specifically. If we had those unlocked, that would be more valuable to us because that's how you attach fire cards, and then Burnout is sort of how you cash in on that and set those off to deal direct damage. But we're not there yet. Fan the Flame, you may draw 1 card. Then after you attach fire cards, you can attach extra fire cards. I can't do that because I don't have the skill that attaches fire cards, and I only get to resolve 1 text box per round, so that's probably not helpful. Refresh phase. Attach all fire cards among your action, explore, and booster cards to a different enemy in your player area. Oh, cool. Deal 2 wounds to each enemy you attach to. So that's a bit of an AoE effect, and we're probably not going to need it, because how much attack do I need to generate? Both these guys are physical defense. So if I play a photonic attack, I can get around that and not worry about their defense. So if I do play a photonic attack, all I need is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All I need is 5 attack. And I feel like that's pretty attainable. If I was getting swarmed with enemies or overrun, I think that Fan the Flame card would be more valuable. Oh, I'm sorry, the Resourceful card. That's what we were looking at. Okay, draw a card whenever a slow enemy enters your player area. If your Burning Light skill is unlocked and active, it deals +1 to enemies. Yeah, so Burning Light is kind of the moneymaker here for Courage. When an enemy enters your player area, you may spend 1 beacon to deal it 2 wounds, limit once per enemy. So that's the cost of entry here. If they come engage us, they're taking wounds if we have beacons to spend on that. Okay, so nothing I was liking too much out of my cards. Yeah, not that one. So it's got me considering, do we try to explore right away and then just try to get the train rolling on the XP? Could I even explore? I mean, I maybe could. So I played this and I could retcon that and play a bigger explore. Why not? Let's do it right away. Sure. How about this 9? So this is what we played during setup. And then we'll do some math here and see if we think we can actually explore. Because I need 4 here to explore the location, and to cover the quest area, I need 1, 2, 3, because I'm planning on these 2 engaging me, so they won't be up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from the meddler up here. So I need 5 plus another 4 is 9, and I got it right here. And overkill is fine, because I'll probably have a booster over here. Okay. Oh, so flares here. Pull 1 fast enemy. So during setup, this is the one that I chose to unlock. You unlock one of the skills in your leftmost column during setup. I figured flares was the more helpful one early game here. So pull 1 fast enemy, spend an XP, 1 XP, to instead pull all slow enemies. Actually, I did have that card, I think, that did something to slow enemies, but there aren't any out there, I'm realizing. So that's not, the second part isn't useful. But if I pull a fast enemy, I could even clear the quest area a little more, which I'm not too concerned about because I have a big quest card from setup. But I could pull this guy. And luckily, he's got physical defense as well. So if I play a photonic attack, I can ignore all this defense, and that's just 2, 4, 7. If I can get 7 attack together, and can I do that? So we're going to put this out as our action card. It's going to go right there. And then I need to match this earth element for my booster card because I want to pull that extra enemy. Oh no! I don't have an earth card. Darn it. Okay. Shucks. That's okay. I know I'm not going to play this then. I'll save that. Wait, no. That's from exploring the location. I just wanted to get the extra XP and get that other enemy out of there so it's not clogging up the quest area. That's okay. So how much attack do I need? I only need the 5 photonic attacks. So let's look at my cards and see which ones are photonic. No, no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I need the 5 attack. It would be nice to have a good explore turn next turn as well. So I'm going to eliminate this one from consideration. And do either of these effects look more useful than the other? Because they're the same cost and they're actually the same stats. So this one looks more useful, which means we're going to play this one as our attack. And as you probably know by now, this attack card is going to shift over and become next round's explore card, and that 8 is really, really nice, and that puts my mind at ease a little bit. So we'll do that, and we're spending 3 for light, and it actually doesn't matter what we're playing for our booster as long because we can't match the element of the one skill we have unlocked because we just got bad luck with our hand. Typically, I can find the booster element that I want. So we're just going to make sure we have 1 attack, and I think I want to keep my costs down. I'm spending 4 over here, and I could spend up to 6. So I can spend 1 or 2 light. This is a really good booster, so we'll save that. And that's a really good attack card. That doesn't have anything, though. Shucks. We're going to play this one. Okay, so that's our booster. Okay, so now we pay for our cards. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. We get the 1 free light from Far Home, so it's like we spent 5. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're down at 15. And that's where I wanted to be. So we're just on the edge. We just attained getting 2 enemies to engage us. And then we'll produce back up a little ways and not deplete our light too badly. Okay, now enemies engage us. We know that 2 enemies are engaging us. Now you're going to see the round flows pretty quickly. So those 2 engage us. These are up here in the quest area. Now we're doing the darkness phase and the explore phase. I kind of end up doing those together. We're going to total our EP, so our explore points. We have 9 from here. 10, 11, 12. That's overkill, but that's okay. So we have 12 explore points against the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the quest area. That gives us 7 remaining. And so we're going to put 7 progress on the location. We'll just go through the formality here. And so this is explored. Now we're going to travel. But since half the point of this turn is to show you what happens in the game, if we couldn't cover this darkness or we chose not to, because you can allocate those explore points, you can choose how much darkness to cover in the quest area and then how much to put on the location. You can split that up if you want. Or if you just don't have enough to cover, anything you're short goes on this treachery over here. And when the treachery gets enough progress, this one needs 5, then the when completed effect triggers, which is nasty, add 3 threat tokens to the location. Then you flip a new treachery to work on, or the enemy is going to work on. And this bottom effect here is the ongoing effect for the rest of the game. So slow enemies have +1 darkness and provide -1 XP. I think that's worse when defeated. So you don't want to complete these. And they're also a loss condition if they complete too many of them. But where we are, we're going to take this new location token off. We completed the Far Home location. Yay! First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the XP. So I'm going to grab XP here. And I'm going to put this up in the location discard pile. Now we're going to find a destination. So this is travel. Exploration refers to putting progress on the active location. Travel is a different system. Travel is getting a new destination location. So we're going to keep in mind we started at a 1-1 location, and we're going to try not to travel too far, because the longer we travel, you'll see when I do this, the worse things are for us and the faster the game accelerates in difficulty. So I'm going to look for a short jump here. And that is not what we wanted. That's the Ruins of Crowbridge. That's a 5-6 location. If we were to travel there, that would be a difference of, we'd be moving 4 spaces to the east and 5 spaces to the south. That's a 9 distance travel. That's not what you're looking for in this game. That would be probably game over for me. So I'm not going to travel there. I am going to look, though, what Envy's final locations are. Nope, it's not on there. So I was kind of hoping it was one of the final locations, but what we're going to do is we're going to save it as a beacon. The reason I want to save it as a beacon is because partly beacons are good, because they're a way to add paths to the next location. They're a way you can discard them for extra explore points. You can discard them for actually some healing. And Courage here has a lot of, like, you remember the Burning Light skill. When an enemy enters your player area, you may spend 1 beacon to deal it 2 wounds. So Courage likes beacons, so we like to be fully stocked. Every luminary has a beacon limit. Ours is 5. This is the highest beacon limit in the game. So hopefully what that tells me is we have 5 chances to find a good location before we have to start tacking on distance. So we're going to save that card. I'm actually glad that we didn't find our destination right away that we wanted to go to, because I want to stock up on some beacons just for gameplay reasons. Okay, here's Everkill. That's a 5-4 location. That's actually pretty close to one of our final locations, so that's good to have on hand. We're going to save that one as a beacon. All right, let's see what we got here. The Way of Madness. Okay, now we're getting closer. That's a 3-4 location, so that would be a net 5 distance, which isn't great, but I've been known to make worse decisions. Oh man, but that effect is really weird, and it could mess up our plan. We're going to save this. We might travel to that at some point. So one thing you can do with beacons too is you can consider these sort of waypoints. Like, I know that's a possibility to travel to those in the future. So you can kind of plot out your path a little bit. All right, give me something good. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So this is Stirith. We're going to choose that as our destination here. So I'm going to put that in the active location slot. I'm going to put the new location token on it. Let's get acquainted with Stirith here. It's a 2-3 location. 7 explore points needed, or progress on it, to explore it. It's worth 2 victory points, or XP, not victory points, XP. This is actually a trait. It's got the forest trait. Then its ability. If you travel south from here, any threat tokens on this location carry over to the destination location. That's not great. Add 1 obstacle just before traveling east from here. So those are the 2 directions. We're going to be picking our poison there, because we're probably going to go either east or south from here. So we'll deal with that later. That's future Joe's problem. Right now, we're going to resolve our travel. So we went to a 2-3 location, and we started at a 1-1 location. So that's a difference of 1 to the east and 2 to the south. That's only 3 distance on our travel. Then you come over here to the distance track, and the distance track cube starts in the section that corresponds to wherever the corruption cube is. So we're in the proper section here, the starting space for the distance track. And I said, I believe our distance was 3. So we're going to bump this 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to look what do we win here? We get to advance the threat track 1 space and the resistance track 2 spaces. And I'll tell you what that means. Here's the threat track and here's the resistance track. We're going to advance this 1 space. I'm totally okay with that because we're still in this 3 section. So we're only going to reveal 3 threat worth of, or 3 darkness worth of enemies during the staging phase. I start getting worried when we start getting like in this territory over here. Then the game starts to get really hard really quickly. And then we're going to advance the resistance track 2 spaces. What this does is it increases whatever section you're on. It increases the amount of progress you need to explore the active location. So it makes locations harder to explore as the game goes on. Okay, and then we reset our cube back to the section that corresponds to corruption. So, I mean, just to illustrate this better, if our corruption was 5, you can see that either on 5 or 6, our distance cube would start here. And you can see how penalizing it is as your corruption gets higher, because your distance is resolved starting from this point and then you go further. And these penalties are exponential, meaning they go up not at a consistent rate. And so the deeper you get over here, the more penalizing it is. So we're lucky that we're starting over here, and we didn't have too bad of a result from our travel there. Okay, let's finish out this round. So that's travel done. We're at our new location. We're at the destination. We're stocked up on beacons a little bit. Oh, and the one thing I forgot to do, when you explore a location, you get to reduce the shade influence. So we're doing that. And we're on our way to hopefully reducing their influence enough that we're not penalized when we travel to that final location. Okay, now we're going to do the attack phase. Going to find our total attack points. That's 4 from our main attack here. And another 1 from our attack booster. We didn't do any shenanigans. Oh, except I'm remembering the whole reason we played this card. When you explore a location, gain +2 XP from it. There we go. So I gave us 1. It's actually 3. That was the whole point of that. I'm glad I didn't forget that. Okay, so we have our 4 + 1. We have 5 attack points. Our attack type is photonic. That photonic attack is not disturbed by their physical defense. So I just get to look at their hit points. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to defeat both of them. Oh. I got to make sure I didn't. Oh, no. Okay. I cheated by accident because I didn't account for this enemy's... Oh, they're crafty. Okay. So this guy's in play. And he adds 1 to your distance when you're traveling. So our distance should have been 4. Okay, so we were over here instead. We should have moved this cube twice and this cube 3 times. Okay? But worse than that, he's comboing off of this Soul Assassin. This enemy makes an immediate attack if you travel a distance greater than 3, which we were fine until this guy increased it by 1. It will engage you first if it's in the quest area. So he makes an immediate attack. So he would have attacked us for 1. I'm just going to take that wound. We have 9 hit points. I'm going to call that fine for now. So we have 1 wound from that attack that was outside of the defend phase. It got to make an immediate attack. So he's still going to attack us during the defend phase if we don't get him. But, okay, now we get to attack. Now we did that right. And we're going to get both of these guys. So we'll defeat him, get the 1 XP, put him in the discard pile. I'm going to grab an XP for us. There we go, we're up to 4. And then we'll defeat him. But it says when you attack this enemy, choose. Take 1 wound or place 2 progress on the treachery. So now we have a choice to make. A when effect means you interrupt whatever's happening. If this would say after, you resolve it after whatever was happening. So we actually resolve this right away before we defeat this enemy. And I'm not excited about having 2 wounds on me right away. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go on the treachery. Maybe a bad decision, but... So we're going to put the 2 progress on the treachery. There's only 3 more that needs to go there before it's completed. Okay, so that resolves this guy. That's another 2 XP though, so that's great. So now we're up to 6. So I'm going to swap this out for a 5. And before I quit here, I'm going to show you some leveling up. Okay, that was the attack phase. The defend phase, enemies in our player area would attack us. I'm also realizing this Soul Conspirator, at the end of the attack phase, he places 1 progress on the treachery. Okay, so this is up to 3. I'm not necessarily trying to show you how to play well. I'm just trying to show you how to play. So the defend phase, there's nothing attacking us. There's nothing in our player area. Let's do the refresh phase, and then I'll spend my XP. So you update the location. You either remove the new location token or you add a threat token. This is a really important part of the game. Since this is like a fresh location, we get to just remove this token. I'm going to put it on top of the deck so I remember it. That's good because it doesn't penalize us for just existing here. Next round, though, since the new location is not on it, we would add a threat token in the refresh phase, and this adds to our threat from our threat track. So more and tougher enemies are going to start coming out. For now, though, that's good. We just remove the token. Go back over here to our reference card. We produce light. Our light production starts out at 4, so we'll go ahead and do that. Back up to 19. That's good. Almost to full capacity there. We could rest, which means we could pay 3 XP to get our rest value from our character growth track, or we could discard a beacon and heal 2. I'm not too worried yet. We've only got the 1 wound, and I'd hate to have the inefficiency of spending an entire beacon. And when you discard a beacon for that reason, you get obstacles on the location, which is bad. So I'm at least going to wait until I have 2 wounds, so I'm not inefficient with my healing there. Okay, you discard your action, explore, and booster card, and you shift your attack card. So I'll put my hand over here. Discard our booster, discard our explore card, and discard our action card. And then this guy shifts over, and we get a nice helping of explore points there at 8. That's good. Draw to your hand size. Our hand size is 6 as determined by our character. So we have 3. We'll draw another 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's done. And then we ready our companion. We're not playing with a companion, but you would do that now. Okay, before the staging phase of the next round, that's how you do. You circle back to the staging phase, and we would reveal enemies based on our threat. Before we do that, I'm going to show you how to spend XP to grow. We've got 6 to spend, which is too bad because what I'd really like to do is upgrade my light production. Well, I could do that. I'm going to show you this instead. So we're going to spend 2 of it on skills, and we're going to spend 2 of it on the next stage of that, which gets us to recruit and upgrade. So we had 6, we spent 4, we got 2 left. All right, let's resolve this first one. We get to unlock 2 skills. They have to be connected. This is a bit of a tech tree here. So from flares, it's connected to this one, and that one. This first column is a little weird because there's only 2 skills in it. But each one is connected to the one across from it and then the middle one. So what I'm seeing here is flares shares an element with burning light. And so if I play a booster card with an earth element, I would get both of them at once, and I like that. And I'm liking this combo. Look at this. So this lets me pull an enemy or pull all slow enemies if I spend the XP. And then the burning light lets me, when an enemy engages me, which we could do with our flares, we can spend the XP to deal the extra wounds to him. Or not the XP, spend the beacon to deal the extra wounds to him. So I'm liking that combo, but I get to unlock 2 skills. And I think I'm going to go with Illuminate up here. Partly because I know that Blazing Torch is going to share an element with these other ones. And so me playing an Earth booster, like the first permanent booster I would buy, I'd probably get an Earth element permanent booster because that looks to be the combo that I'm going to try to go for this game. The other reason is it lets me ignore darkness in the quest area. And the reason I'm thinking about that is that's Pride's whole thing here. Pride is adding darkness to the quest area that the game balance, under normal circumstances wouldn't necessarily be expecting. And so I know that's going to be a little harder than normal. So I think that Illuminate skill is going to help us deal with that in the long term. So we're going to do that one. Okay, but we also spent XP to be able to recruit a card and upgrade a card. So I'm going to recruit first from our hobby deck here. We have Restoration, Stand Strong, and Inner Strength. And I'm not even going to read the card text because I see an Earth element. And that was frustrating this turn that I didn't have an Earth element, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to buy this one or recruit that one. That goes directly to my hand. Then I have to choose one of these two to put to the bottom of the deck. That's expensive, so I'm just going to put it to the bottom. And now I'm going to refresh my market. And this would be my hobby market next time. Okay, then, this is one of the most fun parts of the game here for me is, this would go better with two hands. I'm going to try to decide which one I get to upgrade, and that means flip it to its advanced side. I'm going to look at some of these. Against all odds, that's a really nice even 11 attack and 6 explore. That's pretty good. Look at that, +5 on the booster for attack. I get to increase my main attack equal to the total amount of darkness on enemies in my player area. That's one of Courage's things. She actually likes adversity. She likes being engaged by a lot of enemies. You may save 1 beacon from the location discard pile. Okay, this decision might be made because I really want that. That's going to keep me stocked up on beacons. And I'm going to try to spam my Burning Light skill, which requires me to spend beacons. So I think I'm going to choose that one. I'll show you a couple others just for fun. Burning Bright here, look at that. 15 attack, +6. But it's a cost of 5 light, so that's expensive. You can discard attached fire cards. Wow, and it deals 6 damage to each. Wow. That would be good, but we don't have our key skills for that unlocked yet. Let's look at Force of Will here. That's a really good Explore card, 14 Explore points. Discard any number of beacons, pull 1 enemy and gain 1 light. Okay, so I'm guessing that's going to be a late game card for us because our light's going to start getting low later in the game because I'm going to want to be spending money on these expensive cards. So we are going to decide to upgrade this one, and I would collect my hand, and that would be my hand going into next turn. We would start again at the staging phase. So yeah, that took a while, guys, because I talked through literally everything. But since I wasn't giving you a full playthrough, I wanted to try to help you with the mechanical and the gameplay implications of what's going on here. So hopefully that was helpful. And I'm probably going to finish this game as a playtest and see how I can do. But yeah, thank you for watching.